Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Holly. Today I have a different sort of video to share with you. So this is going to be kind of my plan as I go style rewind spread, and I will be kind of rewinding the week and doing my normal talk through and telling you how that went. But I'm going to do it slightly differently. I have these strips, these time strips from the Coffee Monsterz Co. that I recently picked up, and the idea with these is that you lay them alongside and kind of turn your vertical planner into an hourly planner. And I am very intrigued to try this out. However, I'm hesitant to try it for real, like in my real planner. So I'm going to try it in a rewind spread first. So I thought this would be a perfect time to try it. I have a very random assortment of kit this week. This is the peppermint kit from Little Miss Paperie. And there was an issue where I picked up the kit, but then because she had made a mistake on on a couple of different orders, Brittany had also sent me a kit. And so I ended up with a lot of different versions of this. So I have a ton of stuff. So I'll save the extras and give them to somebody, of course. But let me just show you what I do have. So in matte, I have the date night. Jeez Louise. In matte, I have the date covers, the personal kit, and I don't know that I'll use this. I might use it for washi. So the personal kit. And then I have the horizontal kit, which has some nice strips and stuff. And then the horizontal full boxes, which have a bunch of quarter boxes. This is all matte. And then I have the label stickers. But then this is what I had actually bought, I think, which was the horizontal full boxes in glossy, the personal kit in glossy, and the date covers in glossy. So I might hang on to these since this is kind of like a full glossy set, and then I'll do the matte because this might be a weird week anyway, so maybe it's good to have matte stickers so that I can kind of wiggle things around as needed. So we're gonna be trying this as we go. So I don't have my normal headers and stuff for the sidebar, so it might be a slightly weird style, but I just really wanted to try this out, and this is kind of my extra Erin Condren that I can play in, so I figured I will do it and give this a go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so first I'm going through and laying down those time strips. I forgot to mention that I had two different types of time strips that I got from Coffee Monsterz Co. The first set went from 7 to 11 p.m., 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., which is pretty much almost close to my exact schedule on weekdays. Sometimes I get up a little bit before 7, and I typically go to bed closer to 11:30 or midnight, but that is pretty close. And then I also picked up the 9 a.m. through 12 p.m. ones, which I thought would be perfect for weekend days. Honestly, for things like Friday, I kind of need a longer schedule on both ends, but I think the 7 to 11 just works, because anything I'm doing after 11 doesn't really need to be marked down in a planner. And she does have one other, at least, I think, time set that works for students. So it goes from 3 till midnight or something. And I think she has talked about doing custom ones eventually, which would be pretty cool. I just love this idea. I think it's so neat. And next I am laying down bottom washi, which is not really bottom washi. It is the interior strips that came on the personal kit, and they're a little bit longer than the Erin Condren, of course, so I had to cut those down. And so just doing that with my X-Acto blade. I just picked up an X-Acto blade on, at Michael's. It's not that user friendly, so I'm not sure I necessarily recommend it, but it works. And then I'm taking these strips that came on the horizontal kit and just layering them above and below the personal strips to try to cover up those writing lines, and also just to fill in that space a little bit more and be a little bit more decorative. I thought it looked pretty cute. And then I'm going to do my date covers next. I went with the blue ones to kind of echo the bottom washi at the bottom of the page. And I had already taken some numbers from this set, and I had used two of the numbers I needed, so I stole it from the other set of date covers I had. So that worked out pretty nicely. And I'm putting these just a little bit above the header so that there is a little bit of gap space there. I think I like that better when it's a very printed header. I think that gives it a little breathing room. And then I just put those those flags in the top corners to cover that up. And now I'm moving on to my sidebar. I use the very cute Hello Winter quote box up top first, And then I am getting myself arranged here with the habit trackers. The personal kit came with extra habit trackers, which is nice because I never feel like I have quite enough with Little Miss Paperie kits. And I didn't really have like a ton of my typical things to put in the sidebar. Like there were no full box heart or ombre heart checklists or things like that, just the short ones. So I kind of made this work. I brought it down a little bit to take up a little bit more space. And then I'm using the weekly ombre that came on the horizontal, so it's a little bit shorter than normal. And then I use the cute next week header, which also came on the horizontal kit. It's like big and chunky. I think because you're supposed to put it in like the notes section of the horizontal. And then I just put a 3 heart checklist at the bottom of that. And now I'm figuring out the header situation. So this is like the one thing I didn't have, but I did have enough that said to do or today. I just decided to kind of alternate them in some kind of like word and color pattern that made sense in my brain, that so I could just top off them each day just to have something there to cover up that black bar, since it didn't really go with the look of this kit. And so those are just kind of there to cover up that black bar. And then moving into the actual plans, I, on Monday morning, went to a spin class, and at first I was going to use that half box. And I Once More with Love Munchkin, but then I realized it's really like too big because it's not like spin class lasts 2 hours, it's just like 50 minutes. So I took a quarter box instead and put that little Munchkin on top. I think that is so funny to me that it has a helmet on that just cracks me up every time I use it. And then we got to kind of the thing that I was worried about using an hourly spread, is that basically every day, on a normal week, I am at the office working. And when I'm there, I don't have my Erin Condren. I leave my Erin Condren at home, and I don't really need to mark out my meetings in here. Even if I do have meetings, those go in a different planner. So I wasn't really sure how to do this. So what I did was just take a Coffee Monsterz Co. working emoji and a full box in that space to kind of block it out. And but I don't know that I'd want to do that every day. Luckily, this week was kind of a weird week where I was traveling a bunch, so I don't have to do that problem, but it's something I'd have to think about in the future if I was actually going to try this style for real life. So anyway, that night I marked down the little thing label with the phone, and that was kind of when I found out the news about my cousin, which you're already familiar with if you've been following my channel, so I won't get into that too much. And then after that, I just marked down that I spent some time cooking with my husband and used the little meal emoji there. And then that night was just kind of talking to family and spending kind of, time with my husband and kind of coping with everything. So I used the Little Miss Paperie family time sticker from her sampler. And then on Tuesday, because of everything that went on with my cousin, I did take a half day to work from home, just to give myself a little bit of space since I knew I'd be emotional. So I just marked that down in the morning on a little thing. And again, trying to figure out how to kind of mark out my time. So I brought up the quote box on that day, because I was working that morning, so just to block out that time. And then that afternoon, I just vegged and tried to cope with everything. So I just used the lazy day sticker just to block out that time, which was cute. And then I called my mom again, so and talked to her for a while. So using a little thing and an icon to mark that out. And then I did go to an exercise class because I just thought it'd be good to get my mind off of things. And at 6:30, but I kind of moved it up a little bit to cover up that colored bar there. And then I'm just putting in the meal little thing to mark down going out for dinner after, just like a fast casual dinner. And then we watched the Mick, my husband and I, after that. So I used the little TV. But now I'm going back and adding in the little Once More with Love FML Get in Shape Munchkin. I think that is so cute, and kind of filling everything else in. And then that night I just did some personal tasks. So I wrote all of those out just on a little heart checklist to kind of take up the space. So then on to Wednesday. I was had to leave that night to travel for work. So I had to drive into work, and driving in I live near DC is horrible. I normally take the metro, which is still pretty bad, but driving in the traffic is way worse. So I treated myself to a Dunkin' Donuts trip to get me through that car drive. So I put the little coffee cup from the Kit in there and marked down driving him. And then again, I was kind of stumped with how to mark out the work day. So let me know if you have thoughts about that. I could always cut it, like cut the strips and do just like a couple hours in the morning. But sometimes I do have things going on during the day. Like sometimes I'll work out during the day or like go out for coffee with a friend. So I'd want to mark that down. So I'm not quite sure. But anyway, we did have a cleaning appointment at the house that day. So I just marked that down even though I wasn't there for it. And then that afternoon I did go for a walk to just quickly pick up a prescription. So used a little thing to mark that down as well. And then I left work a little early because I had to drive for that work trip. And I marked that with a half box, and now I'm taking a strip from the horizontal kit to kind of show that that took a bit of time. And I'm actually going to use that trick a lot for the rest of the spread because there was a lot of travel in this week. So, and that actually worked really well. And then when I got there, I went to a restaurant and watched like basketball and got a beer, but I didn't like that the beer munchkins, like they had the yellow and didn't go with the kit, so I used the wine munchkin instead. Although then later in the spread, I like didn't care and used the beer munchkin anyway. And then that night I was just like so exhausted. I always get really tired after long drives, so I just marked down relaxing and used a little piece of deco to fill in some space. And then on to Thursday, I decided to treat myself because we had a really busy work day. I got room service for breakfast, the thing where you put it on the handle the night before so it arrives, which I actually find convenient in terms of timing things when I would travel for work. So I decided to do that. And then I'm noting down that we had work meetings pretty much all day. So I'm taking a quarter box and writing that on there. And then again, using this trick with the horizontal strips to note down that kind of took all morning. And then we went to Chipotle for lunch. So I decided to just put that in. And then I found my Coffee Monsterz Co. Chipotle sheet. So I added the little burrito bowl, little emoji or doodle thing there, which I thought was great. And I also added the little laptop from the kit onto the quarter box for working. And then again, more working and meetings. So I'm marking that section out with a full box and I'm writing work. And I had to like count on my fingers how many times to write it. And then that afternoon we ended around 4 and I got to drive home. I wanted to cover up that gray bar though, so I used the quarter box kind of over that and started the car up top when I started driving, and then used this like divider line that was in the horizontal kit to kind of like mark out the amount of time I was in the car for. So that was actually pretty useful. Turns out the horizontal kit, like this particular combination of sheets, even though it was totally random that I got that, actually worked out perfectly for this style of planning. Like the strips and all the quarter boxes and the labels, they all worked really, really well for this style. So, and having the shorter full boxes as well was really useful. So I'd keep that in mind if this was something I was going to try again. And then when we got home, my husband and I ordered pizza because I was feeling super lazy. And so I used the little Once More With Love pizza munchkin. And then that night I did some filming. So I just used an icon from the kit on top of a flag. And I had to unpack from my business trip and then repack because we were traveling the next day. And that is a Caress Press suitcase icon there. And now on to Friday, I marked down that I grabbed Dunkin' Donuts again that morning and I used a piece of deco from the kit to note that down. And then on Friday, we did take the bus to New York City. We were supposed to do a longer trip there. We ended up shortening it just because of everything that was going on with my family, but we did still go up for the night because we had Hamilton tickets. And right now I'm kind of filling in to make sure I have space for everything that night. But I'll come back and kind of fill in the rest of the day in a minute. And of course, we will talk about Hamilton. But first, I did have a work call that I took while I was on the bus at noon. And so I noted that down with a label and kind of put the strip marking down the amount of time we were on the bus underneath it. And I thought that actually looked pretty cute and functional. And then once we kind of arrived at the hotel, just noting that down. And then we went out and like grabbed some snacks, kind of like a late lunch and a beer at a restaurant near our hotel. and also did a little bit of shopping. I went to the Muji Soho store. I didn't realize that they were in the middle of moving, which was kind of a bummer, so their stock was like a little depleted, but it was really cool, and I got some pens that will be hopefully coming up in a haul sometime soon. And also like found like a Lululemon warehouse sale really randomly, so that was cool. And then the half box and the little Once More with Love eating munchkin marked down going out to dinner with my mom and stepdad. And then I used the movie marquee to mark down Hamilton. And guys, it was so amazing. I literally cried when it was over because I was just sad that it was over. Like, I wasn't even feeling emotional about the play or about the musical or anything. I was just so devastated that it was no longer happening that I just started to cry. And I have cried multiple times in listening to the soundtrack since then. I didn't let myself listen to the full soundtrack until I was gonna see it live. I just really wanted to experience it fresh. I was familiar with like a couple of songs, and I had watched the PBS documentary about it, so I was kind of familiar with the story, which helped because then I wasn't totally lost. I mean, obviously it's history too, so like it's not like there's spoilers or anything. But it was just amazing. I feel so lucky to have seen it in real life. Like, I just can't get over it. It was just so like truly life-changing, and like I am enjoying listening to the soundtrack so much now. I've just been binging it constantly since we went, because I hadn't listened to it yet, and it's just so amazing. So anyway, super glad we went despite everything. My mom felt the same way. She was really happy we went still, and I had an amazing experience. So anyway, that's enough gushing about Hamilton. And then that night we got late night drinks after the show with my mom and stepdad. So I just put that in a little thing. And then on to Saturday, we slept in. So I layered a Paper Co Sleep Late sticker over a box that I cut down from the kit. And then we went out to lunch at Italy, which is like an Italian food emporium type of thing. My husband loves it because he's obsessed with Italian food, and noted that. And then we did a little bit more shopping. We went to the Nintendo store for my husband, because when we went over the summer to the Nintendo store, and he got a sweatshirt that he loves so much he wanted to buy a backup of. So we went there, and then we also went to Kinokuniya, which is a Japanese bookstore, stationery store, all things amazing. Their pen aisle was so insane. I have some more things to share from that in a haul as well, but I had to like totally limit myself, but it was amazing. If you're ever in New York and you're a planner nerd, I definitely recommend that store. And then I noted down the little Once More with Love munchkin, or I put that down to mark out our shopping spree there. And then I used another half box to put down the bus back to Virginia, and am just marking that down again using that strip method with a cupcake. And then I just used the me time sticker for that night because I just spent some time painting my nails and chilling out. Didn't really do that much. And then on to Sunday, I woke up and just had a lazy morning watching YouTube. So I put a little laptop there to note that. And then also a coffee cup because I made myself a nice French press and just chilled out. And then I got to filming, and I put down the planner for that. And then I think I just put down my weekend banner. And then after that, spent some time editing, but I wanted to mark out a little bit more time, so I'm taking a strip of washi and layering the quarter box underneath it to like a similarly colored one to indicate that I spent like all that time editing. And that is another Once More with Love munchkin. And then I went for a long run, so I'm going to grab one of my new Once More with Love running stickers. I think this little guy is so cute. I love his little chubby body trying to run. That's what I look like when I run, just huffing and puffing. And I ran 5 miles, so that was exciting. I have not run that far since then, I don't think. And then went to get groceries just to pick up stuff for the week. And I did some food prep, so I'm trying to use like a daily chore sticker to mark that down, but it was taking up too much time because I didn't really like spend that much time doing it. So I cut it down and layered it. I don't actually love the way this looks. I don't think I'd do this again, but it worked for them. And then the rest of the day, I just did kind of chores and like made the bed and things like that. So I just took the laundry day sticker there, and I'm going to bring in a little laundry munchkin there to finish out the space. And I'm putting some deco at the bottom too, because I just kind of chilled for the rest of the night. And so that is pretty much it for this spread. I'm just adding in some random pieces of deco now. I thought this was really fun. I'm really curious if I could actually do this for pre-planning. I'm not so sure. Let me know what you guys think below, and definitely give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed seeing something different. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.